Then we go on to the next presenter, Dr. Sangeet Mittal, M09477, FP1508, chorioretinectomy for deep impact ocular trauma in Indian eyes.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Sangeet Mittal. I'll be presenting on chorioretinectomy for deep impact ocular trauma in Indian eyes. Chorioretinectomy as a procedure was first introduced in 1987 by Zivo as a therapeutic method, but for the first time in 2004, Ferenc Kuhn did it for a prophylactic method to reduce the RPE proliferation, fibrous ingrowth, and PVR from the wound site. Chorioretinectomy is usually done in deep impact ocular trauma with incarceration of the vitreous and penetration of the choroid. And to understand the concept of chorioretinectomy, let us consider a double penetration injury with endophthalmitis. The entry wound is now sealed. After that, the vitrectomy is done. After clearing the media opacities, you can see the exit wound was located inferiorly along the inferior temporal vessel. At this point, the exit wound was not touched, but you find that post-operatively there was growth from this chorioretinectomy wound, exit wound, causing a limitation in vision. Patient was taken up for surgery. 100% deep diathermy burns were given around the chorioretinectomy site, and the choroid and the retina was excised, exposing the bare sclera. Both the diathermy and the vitreous cutter were used to expose the sclera. After this, 1 to 2 rows of laser were done around this chorioretinectomy site. Also, care was taken not to excise the major blood vessels. The laser was applied around the chorioretinectomy site, and a long-acting gas was used as a tamponade. This is post-operative. 20 days post-operative, the patient's vision had improved to 6/24, and 2 months post-operative further improved to 6/18. Though there was some intraretinal hemorrhages, but there was no, that was not affecting the vision. So we decided to evaluate the success and limitations of performing prophylactic chorioretinectomy for deep impact ocular trauma in Indian eyes, and it's a retrospective case series. 11 eyes of penetrating eye injury with or without intraocular foreign body underwent this procedure. In them, vitreous was incarcerated in the posterior retina. Visual acuity in all these patients were more than accurate projection of rays. 25 or 27 gauge PPV with wide angle non-contact viewing system was done in these patients. The procedure included vitreous base excision, foreign body removal, chorioretinectomy, endolaser, and gas or silicone oil tamponade. The method was a deep endothermy. Diathermy burns were given around the incarceration site. The incarcerated retinal tissue was removed with underlying choroid to the level of bare sclera. 1 to 2 rows of prophylactic laser done around the site, and any bleeding which happened was controlled by diathermy or increasing the infusion pressure. We observed that all patients were males and the average age was around 28.3 years. Intraocular foreign body inside the globe impacted in posterior wall was seen in 7 eyes. Exit wound was seen in 2 eyes. 2 patients had knife injury, and 1 patient had knife injury, and one was injured with a cow's horn. The associated retinal conditions: retinal detachment was present in 4 eyes, endophthalmitis in 1 eye. Significant vitreous hemorrhage was seen in 4 eyes, subretinal hemorrhage in 2 eyes. Silicone oil tamponade was used in 5 eyes, whereas gas tamponade was used in 4 eyes. Post-operatively, we saw that retina was attached in all the eyes, but recurrent PVR happened in 2 eyes, and the visual acuity improvement was seen in 10 out of these 11 eyes. There was a BRVO affecting the ultimate vision in 1 eye. This is another chorioretinectomy. The foreign body you see is removed from the impacted side. After removal, 100% deep diathermy burns are given around this exit wound, around this wound site. Then chorioretinectomy was done when the retinal tissue as well as the choroid was excised to the level of bare sclera. Any bleeding that was happened was controlled by the increasing the infusion pressure of the bottle. After this, the foreign body was removed to an additional sclerotomy, which was made in the pars plana. And a gas tamponade was done in this case also. This is post-operatively. The patient recovered a vision of 6/6. These are few more patients. This is a patient with cow's horn injury with total vitreous hemorrhage and interior and posterior incarceration, ultimately recovered to 6/18. Another patient with double perforation recovered the vision of 6/9. This is an impacted intraocular foreign body which was treated by chorioretinectomy. And this was a patient with suprachoroidal intraocular foreign body where there was no other option but to use a chorioretinectomy to remove the foreign body. This was a patient of knife injury who improved to the vision of 6/36. To conclude, chorioretinectomy is a relatively new procedure. It may prevent exit-site wound-related PVR and fibrous growth over the retina from the wound site, and it may be considered as a prophylactic or a therapeutic option. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeet. Judges, would you like to ask questions, please?
Sangeet, what was the interval between your impact or injury and your surgery?
So most of the cases were done 1 week to 2 weeks after the surgery, after the injury.
The reason I'm asking because sometimes you have a posterior wound open, and if you try to do scrape out all these things and then start leaking, then how to handle these cases?
Yes, but most of in my cases that did not happen. Generally, we took up the cases 1 to 2 weeks after the injury because I wanted the inflammation to go down, the cornea to get clearer, and other things to settle down before I take up these patients. But surgeons have done it earlier also, and they have found no problems doing this procedure when they are done.
Sangeet, external surgery as always. Did you use any systemic medications along with this therapy?
Post-operatively, we gave systemic antibiotics as well as systemic steroids in these patients.
And how long did you continue the steroids?
We gave a 1 milligram per kilogram body weight for about a week, and then we tapered them off.